Hey kids, I'm still here. I was just streaming and I said I would go home, but I have work to do. Sorry. Let me just send a text to the customer. It's going to be a quick one. So, you are watching Guitar Quackery Live, the one and only live streaming guitar repair channel. This is it. The one and only, I think. We have here on the bench our old friend, the Lowden guitar. Lowden, right? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Yeah, with a fracture. So, before we can fix the fracture, the soundboard fracture, which was caused by dryness, we need to rehumidify the guitar. So I've been doing this for quite a few days now and monitoring the guitar and the progress. So there's a few ways of doing this. We want to be, we don't want to be using the aggressive techniques unless we need to do any kind of aggressive approach, right? So let's have a look at the soundboard. So the fracture, you can barely see it. It's here. And yeah, let's focus. Yeah, you can barely see it. I'm going to mask it off. Well, not just yet. It's here, right? So a more aggressive approach might, you know, utilize the scissor jack on the inside or a couple of brace jacks, but we're not doing that. Here I'm rehumidifying, and I'm letting the wood swell up and close. Now, we don't want it to close too much because we want to be able to pry it open to put some glue inside. But we don't want to maintain a gap either. So we'll talk about that. But first, let me say a few things here first. Okay. Because I've been observing this guitar for a few days, and I just decided it's time to update this playlist and show you the, you know, give you a little status report on it. Okay. Here we are. Focus. What are we on? Autofocus? Let's do manual focus here. Is this in focus? Yeah. Okay. Cool. And move the camera a little bit like that. Okay. So sorry about that. Camera work takes time. Okay. And we are live streaming here. So this soundboard doesn't appear to be curved once the guitar is rehumidified. And I think that might be part of the problem. So we want it to be, you know, slightly curved. If I take this, this is a straight edge, right? If I place it here, and if I zoom in, I don't see any gaps. So if this was curved, if this was a curved soundboard, I'd be seeing a gap here at the back, right? So let's simulate a curved soundboard. I'm going to place a pick here. So I'd be seeing a gap at the back, and we'd be able to rock this a little bit. So when I initially took the guitar in, the soundboard was obviously collapsed and fractured. With a collapsed soundboard, I didn't see much of a curve on the soundboard except for the deformity caused by string pull. Okay? All right, I don't want to get into this right now, but basically you want to design a so-called flat top guitar with a domed soundboard so that it can breathe, right? So when it dries up, it kind of shrinks and goes down and doesn't fracture. But if the soundboard is already too flat, it wants to shrink, it wants to collapse further, but it can't because it doesn't have anywhere to collapse, and it's glued to the sides of the guitar body, right? So then it just opens up a fracture, and that's what happened to this guitar. So I think maybe this is not like the best design. I don't know. So why is this important? Because I'm going to make cleats, no, not cleats, clamping calls. And usually I would make a clamping call that can be bent so that so I don't force the soundboard into a straight position, right? So this is here a clamping call that I made for another guitar, a set. And I already mapped out the braces on this guitar, I believe, in part 1. Yeah, I did, in part 1 of this series. So this is what we have. So this was made for another guitar, and this holds the cleat, and this goes on top, and this goes inside. So this was used on a guitar on this channel. I was fixing a guitar. It was the Ed Sheeran Martin guitar, something like that. You can see this cleat, this clamping call being used. And I'm going to make another set of clamping calls for this guitar, and I won't need to make a curved one or a flexible one, right? Okay, so now I said that I would tape off the around the fracture. So on both sides, one tape here, another piece of tape here. And now I am going to move this guitar under the microscope to show you the current state of this fracture. Okay. We have it right here. Let's examine it. Here we see it. So let's zoom in a little bit. Here's the fracture. Okay? So we have a little opening here. It seems like we are missing some fragments, okay, because it's closed here, and it's open here. And then, oh no, we're not missing fragments. This is just here an overlap, okay? That's fine. So now the fracture continues. There's a little bit of contamination here. I'm going to try to vacuum this out. And you see the fracture here. Okay, so let's just examine the whole thing. And now the fracture continues, but it gets tighter. And now it gets wider again. Okay, all the way to the end. That's it. Like I said, we are not using aggressive rehumidification methods. Oh, look, I have a viewer. Okay, one person watching. But we made progress. So I'm going to continue this Re-humidification. The strings are loose. And, you know, I'll check the guitar maybe in a couple of days again. And that's it. We don't want to over-humidify a guitar either. So we want to maintain just enough. So we want the gap to be closed, but not shut, you know, like clenched, right? Because we want to be able to push the soundboard from the inside and kind of open that gap a little bit as we're pushing from the inside so that we can put the glue from above. And the glue I'm going to be using is going to be fish glue. And then once we put glue inside of the fracture, it's going to collapse on itself like this, clean up the glue, and then put the cleat on the inside and clamp it, okay? But we still have a few days of rehumidification on this one. All right, so this was a short video, 11 minutes long. I'm going to take care of the humidification. That all happens off camera, right? I don't have a practical way of showing you that. And that's it. And look, now I have 4 people watching. So you came in at the end of this very short live stream. Yeah, I was streaming earlier, and I said that I would go home, but the thing is that I do have a few guitars to look at, so I thought I might as well push the button, especially because these guitars are already on a playlist. Okay, friends, so I think it was an interesting live stream, so it's only 12 minutes long. You can watch the replay, okay, and don't forget to click, you know, the like button. That's it, my friends. I'll see you soon.